Did the disciples of Jesus die for their belief that he had risen from the grave? I actually did my dissertation in an academic book on this, so here's the quick answer. One is we know that all the disciples of Jesus believed they had seen the risen Jesus after his death. So their belief in becoming a Christian was believing that Jesus had risen from the grave. Second, we know that all of the apostles were willing to suffer and willing to die for this belief. How do I know this? Look at Acts 4 and Acts 5. They publicly proclaimed Jesus. They're threatened, beaten, and thrown in prison for this conviction. Then what about the evidence that they actually died as martyrs? Well, if you take the 12 disciples and then you add Paul and James, the brother of Jesus, I think we can argue that 4 of them, we are on solid ground, died as martyrs. So Peter, we have 10 sources in the 1st and 2nd century, including 2 sources in the 1st century, Clement of Rome, a letter of Clement, chapter 5, and then John chapter 20, 10 sources confirming he died as a martyr, most likely in Rome. Take the Apostle Paul. I think we have 8 sources from the 1st and 2nd century that unanimously agree on this. James, the brother of John, we have Acts 12:2, biblical support. He was killed with a sword, and then Christian testimony in the 2nd century. And then James, the brother of Jesus, we actually have support in the 1st century by Josephus, and then multiple Christian sources and Gnostic sources in the 2nd century. So I think those 4 were on solid ground. When you get to Andrew and Thomas, now you're dealing with the 2nd and 3rd century. So you could argue it's more probable than not, but the evidence is a little weaker that they actually died as martyrs. The rest of the apostles, I think the evidence is late, contradictory, and hard to know where history ends and where legend begins. So does this undermine their testimony? The answer is no, because what matters is from the earliest record on, they believed they had seen the risen Jesus, and they were willing to publicly proclaim this, put themselves in harm's way because of this conviction. What that tells me is the disciples didn't make this up. They're not liars. They really believed that Jesus had risen from the grave, and they were willing to die for that conviction.